Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Please consider subscribing. And today I'm gonna tell you about FOMO, fear of missing out, and fragrances, and sort of my thoughts on FOMO and my tips and tricks as to how to kind of resist FOMO. We can't really overcome it because it's in our nature to want new things all the time. So um, let's just take fragrance word, right? Because it's something that I do enjoy reviewing. So I'm sure that it happened to all of you. You just are on your Instagram and just browsing the Instagram, and you see this particular fragrance that keeps popping up like here and there, and the influencers, oh my gosh, this is the best new thing, you have to have it, if you don't have it you're a loser, and it's so good, and it's so it's so this season, and blah blah blah, and whatnot. And obviously you kind of have it inside that, oh my gosh, this is so good and this is so nice, and I don't have anything like it, although you might, especially if you have quite a big collection. Like, I'm not talking like 700 fragrances, you might have like 100 or 50, and I can assure you that there will be something similar to that. So you just have to know that so many influencers and bloggers, well, I make videos on YouTube, obviously, but I do not collaborate with the brands, they do not send me the merchandise. So everything I'm talking about is the things that I have bought with my own money. So I'm not interested in saying that, oh my gosh, this is good fragrance, and I'm not interested, I'm not paid by competitors to say that this fragrance isn't good at all. I'm just giving you my honest opinion on everything, and that is the case always, because I was offered a collaboration with the brand. They kind of had such unrealistic expectations. I was supposed to receive the fragrance, make the video in 2 weeks time. So I was supposed to test it in 2 weeks, and you know that, like, it sometimes it's not possible. First of all, I might have my own life, and I might be busy with something else, and plus, to test the fragrance, to understand the fragrance, you really need time. And if I have some other fragrances to test, that can be quite difficult, right? So, and they also had this kind of requirement that before I make a video, I have to send them kind of the transcript of everything that I'm gonna say about the fragrance. And it's like, I mean, I understand that if they are a new brand, they're just launching, they are interested in very good reviews, in like, oh my gosh, this is good, this is good, this is good. But if it's not good, it would mean that for me it's kind of damaging my own personal integrity, right? If it's not good, and I'm telling you, well, just go and buy the brand no one knows about yet, and the fragrance that costs like $120, just go and buy it. And people would say, what are you talking about? The sales are just around the corner, and for this amount of money I can buy myself a beautiful bottle of Coco Chanel, for instance, right? So just keep in mind that the bloggers, they are usually paid for what they do. So just browse their stories, and it might be so that a couple of months ago they were just praising and telling this fragrance is something nice about a totally other fragrance. So just, I'm not telling you that you should not believe these people. Just take it with a grain of salt, right? And also, this is a very important thing. Even if, like me, some people just reviewing fragrances, and they have received this fragrance, and you know, no strings attached. The brand told them, just do whatever you want to do. If it's a negative, let it be a negative review. If it's a positive, it's positive. We do not care. We're just sending you our merch. So just keep in mind that every person that is reviewing a fragrance is also a human being with own preferences and things that he or she likes or dislikes. And for instance, I do not like rose fragrances, I do not like oud fragrances. So if a fragrance has rose and oud, I am really trying to be objective. But I mean, like Delina, let's take Delina. Is it a good fragrance? People say it is. But for me, Delina is like so many other rose fragrances. It is nothing prominent, nothing beautiful. I have tried it, I have sniffed it, I have sampled, I have, you know, for me, in three Delinas that they have, like among those three, my favorite one is the Delina Exclusive, because apart from the rose, it also has this kind of smokiness, sultriness. It's heavier, and the rose isn't that prominent. So that's why I actually like it more, because the rose isn't that evident. So you can't take this part of the reviewer apart. It's not like I can take my dislike to rose and to oud and to put it aside for the time when I'm reviewing the fragrance, and then I just take it and put it back in me. It's gonna be in me. So I'm gonna say that this is a nice fragrance, but keep in mind it's very rosy. It's good for you, I'm happy, but for me it's not as good. So the human factor, it's always present. And obviously be careful if you see that this is a paid review, that maybe, I'm not saying it will be, but maybe it's supposed to be positive. So this one is very simple, and it might be like very obvious, like, yeah, what are you talking about? But just hear me out. Know your taste. And I know it's simple, I know it's stupid, right? But try to understand your taste and try not to be someone else. I'm gonna explain myself. Let's take me. Like, I do not like rose, I do not like oud, right? So I know my taste. I know that I do not like oud and I do not like rose. So I'm not trying to be someone else. I'm not trying to fall in love with Delina. It's not gonna happen. This is a nice fragrance. People say it is, and I understand, because for so many people, rose is a good smell, is a nice smell. And Delina is very nicely crafted rose fragrance. I have nothing against it. It's beautifully done, the beautiful bottle, etc, etc. It is nice. But for me, it's a plain rose scent. Let's keep going. It's nothing to write home about. So I'm not trying to be someone else to say that, oh my gosh, Delina is something wow. For me, the one fragrance that I would buy out of whole collection of Parfum de Marly is Safanade, which is absolutely not a rose fragrance. It's very sweet, it's very fragrant and very potent. It reminds me actually of my favorite fragrance, Classique by Jean-Paul Gaultier. So not trying to be someone else, not trying to make yourself to love the nose that you do not like is very important. Just do not fall into this pit hole that you know that there's the trend, and for the notes the trend exists as well. So as a trend of white flowers or rose, oud, couple of years back, rose and oud, it was everywhere, and it was totally difficult to buy a good fragrance without rose or oud in it. So just don't fall for the trends. Keep be true to yourself, be true to your what you really love, because there's nothing worse than wearing the fragrance, and it might be the best fragrance, the most the most cool, the most now, the most it fragrance. But if you don't feel like it is your fragrance, it is good on you, you feel good in it, you're not gonna be happy, and the evening is gonna be spoiled for that. So just know your collection as well. So many times it happened to me, like I'm uh, taken a sniff of a fragrance and it's like, oh well, it reminds me of something, I might have something in my collection, and then I go back home and I start, searching, and yeah, I do have some similar fragrances, and then I look at these fragrances, and although I love all of my fragrances, some of them, well, I don't like them as much as the other ones, but I do love them all the same. Like, I do love them. Some of them I like a bit more. So, and I just look at them. Yeah, this is the fragrance that I don't usually reach for, or that I don't reach for enough. So maybe, yeah, I'm gonna pass the fragrance that I just tested in the shop, even though it is the newest fragrance, it's beautiful fragrance, and my first instinct would be just grab it and go and pay for it and take it home. So yeah, just know your taste, be true to yourself, do not make yourself to fall in love with the notes just because this note is so fashionable at the moment. You're not gonna be able to wear it. And just know your collection. If you don't know your collection enough, if you have forgotten what kind of fragrances you have, just go ahead and reintroduce the collection to yourself. Just sniff and understand what you like, what you don't like. I'm telling you, this helps because these are the important steps in sort of fighting the FOMO. Uh, the one thing that I know, I have seen a couple of videos like that, like for example the FOMO, the fragrance FOMO, and those are like the cheaper alternatives to the fragrances that are so expensive, and they are very in at the moment, and here are your alternatives. I find that it, well, with me, for me, it's not always working, because well, let's say I want a scent, and I have tried it and I like it and I want it. It's a bit expensive, right? And I see a video that it just tells me, just go ahead and buy this fragrance, and it's gonna be half price of the original. I was like, yeah, but I might buy that one, the cheaper one, but the original one is gonna stick in my head, and I'm gonna be thinking about it. I'm gonna be turning back to this fragrance, and I'm gonna just end up buying it. For me, it's always like that. I mean, cheaper alternatives are not working because this is not the fragrance I originally fell in love with. The one that is proposed, instead of the original might be good. I'm not saying it's gonna be bad. It might be good, it might be nice, but it's not that one, and I want that one. So yeah, the cheaper alternatives is not a best idea if you have this kind of, well, I just gonna go and grab the cheaper alternatives. My suggestion to you is, do not do that. Let's say you like this C by Armani, and you really like it, but it's out of the budget. Go ahead and get yourself a 15 ml one, and I'm assure you, it's just like that. This is gonna bring you so much joy and so much happiness, much more. This 15 mils are gonna bring you so much joy and happiness, much more than a new, like, cheaper alternative that is 100 ml. Is just it is like that. So don't fall for the cheaper alternatives. They do not usually work. So the thing that I just want to tell you is that imagine the fragrance that you want at the moment. It can be whatever fragrance, and just strip the brand name, strip the bottle, the beautiful bottle, and just Put it in a plain glass bottle, no name brand, nothing at all attached, just the liquid, and no one would ever know that this is, I don't know, this is the expensive fragrance that costs like, I don't know, say 400 euros, right? No one would ever know. It is in a plain bottle that you got off Amazon for 3 euros and 99. No one is in no one is gonna know. What would you do? Would you really pay your money for that bottle? Or you want this bottle because there's so many other things attached to it? There's the brand name, there's the beautiful bottle, the beautiful story of the house, or you have it in a beautiful box, a wooden box, or like a leather box, or whatever. Or you want to just display it, and when people would come to your house and you want just show them, oh, this is the bottle that I just recently got and it's so beautiful, and the people would be, oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. Just think of it. Would you really buy this fragrance? Shouldn't have, if it wouldn't have all of this around it, would you really pay this money just for the juice or not? Do you really like the juice that much? If it doesn't help, imagine that this fragrance is a fragrance by, I don't know, what is the cheaper brand, I don't know, it's from Adidas. Let's say from Adidas. They make some of the beautiful fragrances. Sometimes it's, some of them are quite plasticky, but they have a couple of that are pretty good. So let's say they are from Adidas. Would you buy this fragrance if it would be from Adidas? I'm not saying that it's gonna cost like the original fragrance, but if it would have the Adidas logo on it, would you still buy it? So, because sometimes people are gravitating towards a sort of luxury thing. It's a beautiful bottle, it would make a beautiful present or a beautiful thing on my dressing table, and the and maybe this person is it's out of the budget to buy like a bag from this brand, like from Chanel, but the fragrance, even the most well, not the most expensive, but one of the most expensive ones, which is the boutique line of Chanel, this person can afford. So sometimes it's kind of a substitute for the more expensive things that, like, for example, the bag that now costs like 10,000 euros, or a fragrance that costs like 300, and the person just can afford this fragrance. So these are the things that we have to think of when we are choosing the fragrance. So we might be just a bit blinded with the brand and with all the allure that is around it. Yeah. So this is the thing that I have on my paper. Just a couple of other words. For example, I have this baby cat fragrance, and it was super popular. It is kind of popular now, but not as much. And I did get it, not because I have so like everyone was talking about it, but because for kind of some time I was wanting to get into this Yves Saint Laurent, this more expensive line of Yves Saint Laurent. And I happened to be in the right time, the right place on the website when they just launched this fragrance, and I've got it because I looked at the notes. The notes are nice, everything is good, so I got it. And then this fragrance just exploded. Everyone all of a sudden wanted it. So this is one of the examples that the hype is real because it's a good fragrance. And I can tell you now, there's so many alternatives to this fragrance. And as for me, they don't live up to this fragrance. So yeah, that's that. So also about sampling, sample the fragrances, try the fragrances, go out and take the samples. Do not blind buy, because sometimes if we blind buy, the item arrives to our house, and we just sniff it and we understand that this is just the fragrance that I have. It might be a bit slightly different, but it's actually it's the same. So I cannot stress enough how important it is to sample the fragrance before buying it. So this is actually what happened with Mancera, because like last year on Black Friday, I have bought 20 bottles, these small ones of Mancera, and these are the 3 bottles that are left at the moment, because all other, I just didn't like them. I loved them on the paper, the notes were good, but yeah, they're not my jam, so I got rid of them. So just sample them before buying. Don't get yourself a big bottle right away, because it might disappoint you and you will just end up with the bottle you will have to sell at a fraction of the original price. So I do hope that this video was helpful or at least entertaining for you. Please give me your ideas on this topic, and yeah, I wish you a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.